Okay, wonderful. So we have Michelle and Michelle, so guest and host, I guess. So this is really actually fun because this is the first time that Michelle and I are meeting or speaking. We have kind of conversed via text a little bit, but it's fun. So we're just gonna roll with the punches. So for those of you that are new, this channel is really just to highlight massage therapists and just kind of learn their stories and really just educate and inspire in the massage industry and body work and natural therapies. So thanks for joining us, Michelle.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me about your journey. So you're a licensed massage therapist. Is that what they're considered in the state of California, or do you go by something else?
So in the state of California, we're one of 4 states in America that still doesn't have a massage therapy license. We have a
Okay.
certification.
Okay.
So we are certified by a board, which is currently a nonprofit called CAMTC.
Mhm.
And we do hold that license to operate essentially.
Okay.
Hopefully that will change soon because I think everybody wants a license. But that's
Yeah.
why we have a CMT instead of an LMT.
Okay. So it would be considered like certified massage therapist. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. CNT. Yeah, because I think in Canada they have registered massage therapist. That's kind of the professional title. Okay, so yeah, share with everybody, how why you went into massage therapy as a profession, like what really kind of drove you to that?
Mhm. So massage therapy is my second career, if you will. I come from Denmark, so I have a completely different background. I came here to America in 2012 with a
Okay.
master's degree in something called experience design. And I found it a little bit difficult to work in that field here, just based on how jobs work in Denmark and how jobs work in America. It didn't really fit my personality. And so I
Mhm.
had to do a little bit of soul searching at the age of 30 of how to change my career. And after doing a failed business venture and battling a little bit with depression, actually, I decided to do something where I was helping other people.
Mhm.
Um, my mom has always had a lot of back pain and a lot of pain in general, and my grandmother has fibromyalgia. So I
Mhm.
was familiar with massage therapy and kind of got into thinking maybe that was something I wanted to do. I also specifically chose this career because I was not interested in going back to college. It's like 5.5 years in college. That was enough. Um, so I found National Holistic Institute, which is a school out here in California, and they offer a 950-hour program, I believe. That is
Wow.
yeah, it's a really good school. So that
Good.
is 450 hours above what you need to practice in California, which is currently 500 hours.
Okay.
And it teaches you Swedish deep tissue, myofascial release, and then it also jumps over and teaches you the Eastern segment. So you learn to do shiatsu and Thai massage and reflexology. So I thought it was a very comprehensive introduction to massage therapy, and I could kind of make my own way from there. When
Yeah.
I first started massage school, I thought, oh, I want to get into spa. I want to do, um, body treatments, and I want to do all of the, cool products and all of those things. And I did do that for a little bit. I worked for a spa here in Sacramento, Imperial. It doesn't exist anymore, but the couple of years I worked there, I became the lead therapist really quickly, and we became best spa in Sacramento for a couple of years. So that was a huge achievement for the owner.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I want to say about a year after massage school, I kind of changed my mind about the spa industry. Not because I think it's a bad line of work. There's definitely a lot of amazing things that you can do there. but I had just seen a lot of one-time clients for a long time, and I wanted to see someone over a longer period of time and kind of actually resolve some issues. So I
Yeah.
started looking into a more medical perspective, and I came across oncology massage. And the minute I saw it, I was like, that is my calling, because
Mhm.
I lost my father to cancer in 2007.
Oh.
So I just knew that that was going to be something that I wanted to get into. So I looked around for a couple of different schools, and the program that is offered by a nonprofit called Greet the Day really stood out to me. So I
Okay.
took their, you know, they have a couple of different programs. I actually teach for them now, so that's a little bit later in the story, I guess. But so they have a foundation class, and they do have an introduction class. They have infusion center massage therapy. They have inpatient massage therapy, and so I saw a opportunity to work closely with an organization where I could advance multiple times. So I took their foundation program, and I was still working for the spa at this time. And the owner of the spa, a wonderful name, a lady called Danish,
Mhm.
knew someone who worked for Mercy Medical Group up here in Sacramento.
Mhm.
And after I had taken my classes, I did the foundation class and I did the infusion center massage class. Um, I got introduced to a nurse navigator who they usually lead the cancer support groups. And they are usually like the, I want to say, well, navigator kind of says it all, but they help the patients figure out different types of offers that are out there, wigs, alternative medicine,
Mhm.
um, if they need specialists from other departments when they're going through their cancer journey, things like that.
Yeah.
So I got in contact with them, and they were like, well, come and speak to one of our support groups about what oncology massage is.
Mhm.
And I did. And so I came up with a presentation, and that was the first time I've done a presentation like that. So that was exciting and
Yes.
nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking, I'm sure.
You know, you want to be very true to what you've learned, but you know, this was also my kind of first venture into speaking on behalf of oncology massage.
Mhm.
And that one time, it just happened to be that Sita, who was the Northern California regional nurse coordinator, I guess, was sitting in on that meeting. And when we were done, she grabbed me in the hallway and she's like, what else can you do? And I was like, I mean, I can do infusion center massage. Do you have a program like that? And she's like, no, we don't have anything like that at Mercy, but we want it. And
Mhm.
so um, from the day that I met Sita to the day that we opened the Infusion Center massage program and Mercy San Juan and Mercy Cancer Center on C Street, it took 9 months. Because you just have so much legal paperwork to go through,
Wow.
and vetting, and vaccinations and TB
Mm.
testing and all kinds of things that you have to comply by. And I had to go and meet with people and tell them what infusion center massage is and what they could expect from the program that we were putting together. And it took about 9 months. That correlated with me opening my own private practice.
Mhm.
And so I started a fusion center program and opened my own private practice within the first, like within a month of each other, essentially.
Yeah.
And that was in 2018. So, so that's kind of where my journey has led me into oncology massage, and then learning about all of the clients there and what they go through has kind of made me advance my education. So now I am also a certified lymphedema therapist.
Mm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
I am.
Okay, so so certified lymphedema therapist is someone who works with people who have lymphedema, but it teaches you so much more because it's comprehensive in working with the lymphatic system and with compression. So for my oncology clients, yes, people who end up having to deal with lymphedema, which is a unfortunately quite common side effect, long-term effect of some cancer treatments. It doesn't always happen, but in some cases it does.
Okay.
It also helped me understand how to work with plastic surgery recovery, because we have a segment of the cancer patient population who go through reconstructive surgery. So that was my into that. So my practice right now kind of looks like, I want to say 70% cancer patients, about 20% plastic surgery, and 10% lymphedema care. And then I have a couple here and there who are just regular massage. But
Just,
my,
yeah.
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 So that's my journey. That's how I got here.
Wow. So how long have you had your own practice, your private practice? It began when?
So I started my practice in November 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And, whenever you start something new, whenever you start a business venture, it takes you a couple years to kind of get the ball rolling and get, enough referrals to have a steady clientele. And then, of course, like for everybody else, in the end of 2019, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I had to close down my business for a while, and I we had to close down the program at the Infusion Center. So like so many other people in massage therapy, I had to do a lot of really hard thinking about what I wanted to do. If I wanted to stay in this career, if I wanted to do something else temporarily, or what I wanted to do. And Great Today kind of saved me there, because Jeanette Durand, who is the current CEO of that nonprofit, called me up and said, well, we're going to move some of our training online. Would you like to teach the introduction program online? And I jumped on it. And so now I'm teaching for Greet Today, their introduction program online.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that you had such a time sensitive opportunity, to teach online. So many massage therapists across the nation, and I'm sure across the world, really suffered quite a bit. And in terms of just asking those really hard questions, like, what now?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about those first couple of years before the pandemic, when you said, I really like the way that you're very realistic. You hear overnight success stories of massage therapists that, in 6 months, they have an enormous business. You hear of, six-figure incomes left and right in the massage industry. But yeah, talk to us about what that looked like for you from the very first day that you kind of sat down and you're like, okay, I am officially self-employed and it all resides on my shoulders.
Yes.
What were those days like for you? Do you remember?
Well, yes. So my business is a little bit unique, because I knew for a fact that I did not want an overhead if I could get away with it. So I did not want to rent a place somewhere. So we're in my practice right now, and I'm working from home. This is our 2-car garage that got converted into my private practice with a separate entrance and a bathroom and everything. So I knew that that was the way I wanted to go, because I did not want to lease from someone else and have the risk of having to move my practice multiple times. So that was a conscious decision on my part. That also meant that house hunting was a little bit difficult, because
Yeah.
in California, there are certain places, certain counties, where opening a practice from your home and a massage therapy practice actually isn't legal. Or you have to jump through a lot of really crazy hoops, like um, registering in adult entertainment, or asking everybody in the neighborhood if it's okay that you do massage therapy from your house. And And I just didn't want to buy a house and then having to ask people if that was okay. So we decided to buy a house in Sacramento County, not in the city.
Okay.
So that's why I'm up in Carmichael. Then, we did the whole renovation thing. And then during renovation period of the house, I kind of put together a marketing plan. So I was lucky that part of my education from Denmark was in marketing, and kind of utilized some of those tools for myself. Had to be very realistic with where you're getting clients from. And when I first opened, I wasn't very booked. I had, on a good week, I maybe had 5 clients, and I think that is a very realistic thing when you're starting out brand new. You don't know anyone, you don't have any contacts. I didn't take any clients with me when I stopped working for the other spa.
So you started from scratch. Like these clients were your own marketing efforts.
Yes. And very realistically, a lot of my clients come from the hospital.
Okay.
So I am not allowed to market when I'm in the infusion center, but there's a couple ways around it. So if someone asks me, oh, how often do you come here? I can say, well, I come here, I work 4 days a week in the infusion center. I come here Monday and Wednesday, and I'm at the other location this and this day. And then the rest of the time I have my private practice. So I keep busy. So I can kind of sneak it in that you have a private practice without making, here's my business card kind of effort. And I have also developed a very close relationship with all of the nurse navigators at Mercy, who have come to trust, what oncology massage is and stands for. And so they do send clients my way as well. Networking with other massage therapists in the area and having them understand that if they're working with someone who has had cancer or who is in active cancer treatment, that they really do need to see a specialist. And it might be outside of their scope of practice, excuse me. So that's, I want to say the most reliable source of clients is that referral system. And then, you have your business website, make sure you're on Google. I did spend money on Google Ads and still do every once in a while. I'll run like a month or two to kind of fill the practice up. I know some people get a lot of clients from Instagram and Facebook, but that hasn't been my experience at all. I think Instagram and Facebook for me has been a tool for networking with other people like yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Instagram, at least for Lumina Massage, has been great. The demographic is, female for the most part, and kind of like not a middle-aged demographic, but I want to say like 25 to 35, and then inching up. So I think it just varies with people. But that's so interesting. It sounds like you have a really trusted network of, colleagues that just understand and appreciate what you do. And it sounds very specialized. I'm just curious if a massage therapist, what does it look like? If a massage therapist says, well, I'm just going to go ahead and, give a massage to my friend or my relative that's going through cancer. Can you help us understand kind of like what takes place when you would see someone as opposed to like just doing like an hour-long Swedish massage? Someone like well-intentioned, but not hasn't really pursued the training.
So I would first of all, I would say, please don't do it. I know it's so well-meaning. If you want to do something for your loved one that is very risk-free, I would say a foot or a hand massage or a good scalp massage is very good, but anything beyond that is kind of invading in a territory where we're getting a little bit risky. And the reason is that some cancer treatments leave the lymphatic system damaged. And when we're talking about risk reduction practices, some of the things that cancer patients are taught is they can no longer have blood pressure taken in the affected arm, for example, or have vaccines or blood draws done in that arm. And if you can't even do something with that little pressure or that little damage, you have to consider a massage, even if it is light and Swedish. It does affect the vascular system. We sometimes leave our the skin reddened. Even if we are not intentionally working with lymphatic flow, the direction of our strokes does have an effect on the lymphatic system. And so if you are pushing fluids into a region that's compromised, you're putting demand on that region that's unnecessary. So you're putting that person at risk. And without getting into too much about what kind of cancer treatments, because that's really something you should go seek training about, I want to say that a lot of cancer treatments and most cancer survivors will be in the category where they need someone who's had special training. When it comes to active cancer treatment, it gets even more complicated, because then we have to talk about medical devices and risks of blood clots and surgery sites and radiation burns and sensitive skin due to chemo, or even something simple like low blood cell counts can affect fatigue, immune system, and all kinds of other things that doesn't necessarily manifest on the outside of the body. Some cancer patients don't look like what we see in the movies, where they're frail and in a bed and with no hair. That's not all cancer patients. So we have to be very conscious about what we do. It's the same thing, like if you're not trained in working with someone with broken bones and sprains and strains, right after that has happened, you shouldn't really do it. It's beyond your scope of practice. Yeah.
Let's talk about the name of your practice, the Nordic House Spa. Seems like you had an introductory spa experience in the beginning of your bodywork career. What made, I love the name. It's very unique and it's very appropriate. I was like, why would she choose Nordic? And now that I'm getting to know you, I'm like, oh, okay, that's very appropriate. What made you choose that name?
Well, I can't really run away from the accent. That is, I am from Denmark. The accent's there. I've been here since 2012. It's probably not going to get any better. So, and I am pretty proud of my heritage. Some of the things that Scandinavia stands for is very ingrained in me, and I take it with me into my practice. So the term hygge, for example, I'm sure you're familiar with, is something that I practice here. And in my daily life, I tend to strive towards a work-life balance that is more Nordic than American in some ways. And I try to give that vibe when people come here. House is because it's at my house. Welcome to my house. And the spa is not necessarily a leftover from what I used to do, but it's more a hint to the fact that just because it's a medical massage, because I'm working with cancer patients or I'm working with someone who's in plastic surgery recovery, you can still have a spa experience. You can still do mood lighting and great music, and you can still provide a relaxing and beneficial environment for the mental state as well. And I think especially when we're talking about cancer patients, that is actually super important. So that's why the name is a combination of me and what I stand for in all the words, I guess.
Yeah. Does it feel strange to have strangers come to your home?
Oh, there has been a couple of times where um, I felt a little odd about having people come to my house.
Mhm.
But I have taken a certain set of precautions, and I think everybody that works from home should do so. So I have security systems in the form of a video pointing outside of my spa, so everybody that comes and go gets caught on camera.
Mhm.
I have a panic button that sets off the whole house system alarm, and I have a good relationship with a couple of my neighbors where I know someone's always home. So a
Mhm.
couple of retired people and a mom across the street and things like that. So if the alarm does go off, they know to come to help or call, the police if something happens. And then
Yeah.
lately, I've been very happy with my husband working from home, like so many other people. So that's been really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that people, think about. There's always an issue with zoning, and especially as you mentioned in the beginning, unfortunately, the massage industry, even though health and wellness has grown by leaps and bounds as an industry, and massage is a very, very sought after service. And even breaking it down to specific categories and specialties, like what you do, it's still, because of the pandemic, a lot of people many massage therapists have considered opening up, their own practice, but there is always this, kind of safety risk and safety, is this a good idea? And then finding a home that, will permit for all those zoning regulations. Did you have to go to your county, or how were you able to locate a facility that would support your business?
Well, so I have a very savvy husband because I'm not very good at all of these like laws and bureaucratic speech. So I was happy that he was really good at it. But I want to say, if you want to know, go to your county's, business administration or department, and to have a conversation with them. Like, be very frank. What is it that you want to do? What kind of service are you thinking about providing? And is that something that can be done where you're looking to open a practice? So a
Mhm.
couple of restrictions on my end was that in addition to a normal business license, I had to have a special business license, which was
Mhm.
fine. Most places do have to do that. Um, I cannot sell products from my location because it's a house. But if
Mhm.
I open the website and have people, buy stuff there and they came to my house to pick it up, that would be fine.
That would
So
be okay.
there's
Yeah.
yeah. So there's like a couple ways to kind of circumvent things if you wanted to do a private practice. I will say in regards to um, being safe as well and being upfront with your community. When I opened my practice, I called the local sheriff's office and told them, "Hey, I'm opening a massage practice and out of my house, and this is what I'm planning to do." And already back then, I knew I was going to work with cancer survivors. And
Mhm.
then I said, "You're always welcome to come have a look if you feel the need to do so." I haven't seen someone coming. I've never, nobody's never knocked on my door to see what it is that I do. But if they do, they would be very welcome here, because I think the only way to move our industry forward is to be very frank about what we do,
Mhm.
and those of us who are doing legitimate business.
Yeah.
Um, if you're hiding anything and doing practices that isn't legal, then you're more you're more likely not to be a legitimate massage therapist in my book.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
um,
it is an unfortunate aspect about the reality of becoming a massage practitioner in any state, at
mhm,
least in the United States. Again, just because of the stigma, I know nobody likes to talk about it, or massage students that are new in the field, they get a little bit discouraged. But I think I love the fact that you're saying, really emphasizing transparency and not being afraid to go to the authorities I know I certainly had some backlash, and, quite a few hoops to jump through because that stigma was there. And, really just, as you said, just opening the door and inviting the authorities to come in and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. You're more than welcome to come in, but
Mhm.
what needs to happen? But it's very encouraging for those that do choose to take that path, because again, you kind of think of it, well, I'm a massage therapist working from home. That just kind of freaks me out. I
Mhm.
don't know how comfortable I am with that. But you're saying that it can be done and it can be done well. So
Yeah.
that's really, really encouraging. Obviously, there are some massage therapists that say, no, I just want to keep that like separate. I would rather lease a space or, purchase a space to just kind of have, that separate aspect from my home. And that's
Oh,
okay too.
absolutely. Absolutely. But I really think in the massage therapy, and especially because we are a female predominant profession,
Mhm.
um, we always have to be a little bit more careful with vetting our clients. So um, when we when we have a website where someone can just go and book, I, for example, if it's a new client, whether it's a male or a female, I give them a call and have a conversation with them about their expectations of the service that I'm providing. Um, I did have, a couple of people when I first started out calling and asking for happy endings. I really did, and I was mortified because I actually felt really offended and almost assaulted in a way, because I
Mm.
felt it was so far from what I wanted to do and what my website was saying. Is all oncology and things like that. It's like, are you not reading my website? What's going on
No,
here?
they don't.
Um,
They just see the number and call.
No, yes, exactly. It's like you're on Google, they're gonna call. So a couple things I did very early on, if you're thinking about opening a practice, whether it's from home or from a leased location, is that Google has a service where you can pay them to have a robot basically pick up the phone and screen the call for you. And at the end of the conversation with the robot, it basically says, would you like to speak to a real person? And then it forwards um, the call to you. But it does discourage a couple of those kind of people because the conversation is recorded.
Mm,
So
that
if
is
you
very helpful to know.
right. So I was not very, you know, I'm not shy, and I think maybe because a little bit of my Danish, heritage, I just tell people off. It's like, no, that is not what I do. I now have your name, and if you keep calling, I'm gonna report you to the police. So I'm
Mhm.
really like, mm-mm, I don't want to, I don't want to get into that. But if
Right.
you are a little bit shy and that's not your forte, having that extra screening process is really good. And making sure that you can't do same day bookings, so you don't risk someone just showing up when you're done with a client and you didn't know that person was coming, is a good way to do it too. I mean, we
Yeah.
always have to be careful, and especially people just getting into massage therapy, you know, really understand and acknowledge the fact that you have to protect yourself and your own safety.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I have also had my fair share of, do you offer full body massages or do you offer happy endings? And it really jars you. It really jars you because your mentality is on, I'm a professional. I'm working so hard to exhibit this professionalism to the world. You want
Yeah.
to be taken seriously. You love your craft. You want to help others. And then here someone comes in and like sidelines you, and you're like, what? That is not, but yeah, it's something that it's on them. It's on them. It's something that they're looking for. It is expected to be a little jarring, but I would really just encourage other massage therapists, like, process it, but understand that ultimately it's not a reflection on you. Um, Especially if you've done everything you can to appear, online. Your online presence really doesn't reflect those type of services. So you know, just kind of process it and then just let it go.
Yes, yes, just let it go. There's
Yeah.
always going to be people looking for that kind of thing, whether it's legal or illegal, and it has nothing to do with who you are as a person. But I think it is jarring when you're new, because a lot of massage schools do a very good job of teaching us pride in what we do,
Hmm.
and teaching us, a lot of people get into massage therapy because they want to help people. We
Hmm.
have this caring being, and I think when you first have those conversations and you're not, they have so many tricky ways of asking. Do you do full body massage? Like, yeah, I do full body massage. Like, of course, that's like
I'm
that's
working
what
the
I thought.
body.
What do you do? And then they're like, well, do you do full body massage? So
Hmm.
then you're like,
Emphasis on full.
do this in the beginning, and you really have to like sneak it in. So I would say find a couple ways to ask a couple questions
Hmm.
where you can determine what it is they're doing. So I am very lucky, I'm very specialized in what I do. So I always say, well, I specialize with cancer patients. Do you happen to have a cancer history? Is that why you're calling me? And I've had people hang up on me afterwards, because obviously
Oh
that's
no.
not what they
They're
want
like,
to do.
no, please.
No, no. Um, but if you are a massage therapist who specializes in sports massage or deep tissue or neuromuscular work, ask about, what is it that you're hurting? Like, what is your goal of this particular session?
Hmm.
Um, are you looking to come in multiple sessions and resolve what issue you have? Kind of asking and be a little bit tricky about it so that they have to verbalize it. And then, know that you also have the right to refuse service, and you have the
Hmm.
right to hang up on people.
Yeah. And I would say, even if somebody has a storefront, if you're leasing space in a storefront and you do receive walk-ins because maybe you're in a, high touristy area or like a very high traffic area, and you choose to, receive walk-ins, especially in the beginning, where you're really eager to build up your client base. I think it's safe to say you can still have that screening process in the beginning, just to, just be clear about, the services, and the like the standard that you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so curious about your Nordic traditions. Ever since you said them, I'm just like, I want to know.
Um,
So what is it that you do? You said something along the lines of the way you practice, and then I didn't catch the word. The way you practice, I don't know if it's like, is it your lifestyle? Is it your health? Is it your mentality? Is it like, what is it?
mm. So one of the things that I think has spread across the world from Denmark is the word hygge, which is spelled Hygge.
How do you pronounce it properly?
Hygge.
Hugo?
Hmm.
Hugo?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I would have never guessed. Thank goodness I didn't try to. I would see it in books, and I even have a friend that she's really into it. And all I know, and forgive me if I don't know it, but it seems to me the essence of coziness, right? But I'm sure there's much more to it. So yeah, explain what it means to you and how you apply it.
I think it's a state of mind. It's the small things in life and enjoying them. It's sitting down with friends and having a cup of tea and not caring about the time. Meeting
Or the
someone,
cell phone.
yes, yes, or your cell phone. Meeting someone randomly when you're walking down the street, and acknowledging that they're there and asking if they want to go have a beer. It can be, just sitting down with a good book on your own, and giving yourself space. Um, very, very like simply spoken. Yeah, simply put, it is about finding little moments to create space and
Mm,
enjoying that space, whether it's alone or with people.
mm,
So um, I practice that in my practice. When people come in my door and they're here, I am 100% here with them, and they are 100% here with me. So no cell phones, no, no beeping everywhere and all of that. And it's very simple in that sense. Personally, a couple other things that I do is I have a very, very, very good work-life balance, I would say. So in Denmark, we kind of say we work so we can have time off.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that people don't have career aspirations or are not competitive in any way, but there is a sense that you work so that you can have time off to enjoy that. I come from a country where you have 5 weeks paid vacation every year.
Shocking, I mean, it's really so hard. I've become a huge, well, in 2019, I want to say 2019, 2018, 2019, I became a big proponent of vacation time. And it's staggering how hard it is for people that live in North America. I don't know how Canada sees it, but it's really, really hard for people to take time off. Really
Yeah,
hard.
very hard. When I talk to my husband, he has a job where if you take 2 weeks off in a row, it's like, oh man, that is definitely the only time you can take this money.
That is it. That's the quota.
Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I go back to Denmark, I'm not gonna go for 2 weeks. I barely get there and see two people and then I have to leave again. So when I go to Denmark, I go for a month or 5 weeks and I take that time for myself. But I think more than that, it's the sense that when you are at work, you give yourself 100%. And then when you take time off, you leave your job completely. So one of the things I do is I very, very rarely answer my work phone or answer texts when my practice isn't open. And it's because if I start doing that, I'll never put that phone down. You're always going to have someone asking a question or sending an email or there's a voicemail to answer. And I never get to stop if I do that. So that's how I work. Honestly, if you're really interested in learning a little bit about Denmark and pursuing happiness, there's a really good book by a gal named Helen Russell. She is from England and she moved to Denmark because her husband got a job at Lego. And she wrote a book, so she is a journalist, and she wrote a book where every chapter is kind of diving into an aspect of Danish culture and how that affects why Denmark was the happiest country in the world for so many years. And there's like at the end of the book, there's like 10 commandments, and the most important one is to eat more pastries, and I am all for that.
Eat more pastries.
So,
not a bad rule of thumb.
No.
Do you miss Denmark?
Oh, I do. Absolutely. I do. I try to go back every year, a year and a half. Of course, COVID has kind of put a stop to that a little bit, but I did go back in 2020 in December. My grandfather isn't doing so well, and my mom is currently taking care of him. So she was just in need of a little bit of family support. So because I'm a dual citizen, I was able to travel back and forth. And of course, being very safe with tests and everything. At that point, we didn't have a vaccine. So being very safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your grandfather and then also your dad. Speaking of books, I would love to. So I'm an avid reader. I literally have read, I read like 4 or 5 books at the same time, 3 or 4 on the low end. I've been doing this since I was a teenager, but let me see if I can get it. It's actually, it's called Crying in H Mart. And have you read it or heard of it?
I haven't actually.
Yeah.
but it
So
sounds interesting.
yes, crying in H Mart. The reason I think it's appropriate is because well, I don't know how much it has there. Cancer is, I will say this, cancer is intertwined with the author. It's a true story. Let me see if I can grab it so I can show you the cover. Hold
Yeah.
on. Okay, so here it is. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah,
It
I see. Crying in H mode. Okay.
yeah, crying in H Mart. So yeah, cancer is a part of the story, and I don't think that I have ever read someone describing how to care for someone with cancer and like the slow process. Um, and it's a story about that, and it's also a story about the relationship between mother and daughter, specifically mothers and daughters that didn't always have the happiest relationship, you
Mm.
know. It's good, it's good, but I don't know, I was like, oh, this is relevant. So since we're
It
talking
sounds
about
like
what,
a really good book. I'll definitely check it out. And then you'll have to check out the book by Helen Russell called A Year of Living Danishly.
okay, let me write this down. A
Yeah.
year of living Danishly. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's a very good book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Miami, Florida, which is worlds away from Danish living, I'm sure. So I don't know how much the population has of that like specific culture, but we get lots of sun, and recently we've been getting lots of rain. But yeah, Miechelle, thank you so much for making the time today. I loved hearing your backstory. I'm so grateful for your patience and just, you know, sharing your journey. I know so many massage therapists. It's a really weird time right now. You know, it's a really transitional time. Like we said, some massage therapists are leaving the industry altogether. Some are kind of stuck in this limbo. Some are still on unemployment, or getting off of it. Some are incredibly busy. So, you know, there's all types of facets, but I just really enjoyed your story. I'm deeply grateful for your time, and it was so nice to get to know you. And I really hope we can stay in touch.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, even though we're like a not a continent, but a whole country space away.
I can stay in touch with people 9-hour time difference in Denmark. I'm sure I can stay in touch with you too. It's just a
That
couple
is true. That is true. Thank you, Miechelle. Have a wonderful day. And I look forward to, yeah, developing a nurturing relationship, and many blessings and much success to your business.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye.